I was saying that I have a bunch of DC comic t-shirts. I gotta get a better handhold on my phone when I'm recording. I think that's like the second time I've dropped it, and when I dropped it I hit the stop button. And well, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that, but needless to say, this is gonna be a two-parter. Okay, so Tyco, me, a kid, loved them, bought them all the time. Problem was that made me stop buying radio-controlled cars was that, wait a minute, now see, I have a better handhold on the phone, but, hold on. Yeah, I got a better handhold on the phone, but I don't want to cover the mic so that I don't come out muffled. Okay. 15 minutes. 15 minutes is all you got to play with these $100 radio controlled cars. By the way, I had the black 1984 Lamborghini. Who remembers it? I bet there's somebody out there who remembers it. It cost like $100. I bought it, I don't know, late 80s. That was a lot of money. You know, I saved up for it too. But yeah, it was like this sleek black 1984 Lamborghini. It was awesome. Anyway, it cost $100, and they had what was it? It took 4 hours. No, excuse. Wait a minute. I think it was 8 hours. It took like 8 hours to recharge its battery, and you only got to play with the damn thing for 15 minutes if you use the turbo, you know, or 20 minutes if you didn't hit the turbo. It just simply wasn't worth it, basically, you know. It's kind of why I ride a bike now today, you know. My thinking really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's a lot of effort and a lot of money for very little gratification. So that's why I stopped buying Tyco, and frankly all RC cars. I know when I did some checking in and research into all of the drones that are coming out now, you know, still the power is a little bit better. It's like 20 or 25 minutes, but that's a lot of money, man, to only have it in the air for, you know, how long? Anyway, America needs a better battery. We've got the power. You know, America's probably trying, God only knows what kind of dirty little politics, legislation are being moved through the House and through the Senate right now to somehow, in some way, quantify and bill for free sunshine. Bill for the wind moving across the face of the earth. You know, I mean, how the hell do you suddenly start charging for something that's been scot-free for eternity? You know, how do you suddenly start charging for that? So that's what's going on now. I was speaking to another Republican. He switched over to solar. He finally put up solar panels. So solar, it's gaining traction. I don't think that it's a fluke. People are tired of the big oil. They're very, very tired of it. The American economy, it's so heavily vested in big oil. See, that's the problem. America is so entrenched in, you know, fossil fuel. And, you know, I think, like I said from probably my first video while talking to the Egg Harbor Township police officers, I'm not a tree-hugging hippie. I don't ride a bike because of carbon emissions, fossil fuel, blah, blah, you know. Earth's already gone through a number of catastrophic climate changes long before humans even walked the Earth. Which means the Earth has demonstrated it has the ability to recover just fine. If humans are going to screw up their planet, well then, that's something that humans are going to have to deal with. But yeah, Earth's going to be just fine. So yeah, we got Biden considering a run. We have America, which needs a better means of harvesting and storing this abundance of brand new power. I mean, the power is not brand new. We've had solar and wind forever. We need a better battery. You know, that Republican engineer, he was correct. We do need a better means of storing things. Oh yeah, I guess I'll end my part 2 with another observation. Computers are, how do I want to say this? Our classes, our economic classes, they are held together or segregated, or computers. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'll just simply put it out there. Computers. We got our first glimpses of them in 60s and 70s, mostly on sci-fi shows. Star Trek, Doctor Who, stuff like that. We see them in the movies, television, intrigued. And then in comes the 70s and the 80s where, what was it, that iconic Mac commercial, the very first home PC, you know, does the guy throw the anvil or some shit like that. You know, it was supposed to revolutionize things. And I remember, I spent a couple of years in public school, taking a break from private school. A long story to that, I'll tell you another time. But this public school had infinitely more funding than my parochial school. And it had a computer lab. And, you know, I go in and I'm fascinated and I'm wowed. And I remember how cold it was in this lab and how sterile, you know. It had like this really sterile feel to it. You know, and so our teacher, she sits us down, and she begins to instruct us on how to log in, and this was, oh my God, this is early 80s, you know, and I'm thinking maybe 15-20 minutes into working this computer, it just became the biggest fucking killjoy of my life, of my young life. You know, the teacher, I remember her name was Miss Dubois, and Miss Dubois would just, you know, just sit there, don't touch anything, don't touch a single key until I tell you to touch it. You know, so the instructions were so sacrosanct, so you know, and of course later with my adult mind, I look back on the situation and I can see that she was scared that if we jammed up the computer, she probably wouldn't know how to unjam it. Anyway, but what I gleaned from that experience was that computers are extremely difficult to use. You know, fast forward, you know, 10 or 15 years, Microsoft revolutionizes the computer industry with its Windows. You know, suddenly we're keying in with DOS and Lotus. I know, look at you young babies out there, you're like, huh? DOS, Lotus? What the fuck is that? Yeah. Anyway, I'm really giving away my age now. But yeah, keying in with like DOS and Lotus programs and shit, all gone. Completely revolutionized. Windows was here. And what it did was that suddenly a lot of people who were not uber computer nerds, it just simply opened up the doors and the, well, excuse the pun, the windows for a lot of people to just suddenly come in and start using it much more easier. It was a lot easier, but, you know, it still required a lot of training, you know. Then came your computer schools. Computer schools got real popular in the 90s, you know. They were real popular. Now that we had this workable program of Windows, you know, we can work with this, you know. And it is my opinion that powers that be, you know. I'm sorry, I'm not going all Illuminati on you here, nothing like that. But I think powers that be, they were like, whoa, just whoa, hold up. We cannot continue to make computer usage this easy, this simplified. You will destroy the segregation floodgates. And when I say that, I'm talking about schools. Like I just said, you know, schools became extremely popular. Those 90s computer schools were flooded with the type of people that you wouldn't even think would have an interest in computers, but now, well, now they do, because it's suddenly that much more easy to use them. You're now going to, you know, have that much less of a need for colleges, for schools, for, you know, you devalue a high school diploma. You devalue a college degree with these computer programs. Bet you didn't think about that. You know? Suddenly, why am I going to go to a college and take out all these college loans? End up in debt for how long? At what kind of an interest rate? When, you know, computer programming, it's so simple and so easy, it's on-the-job training, you know? But anyway, I say all that because, as you can see, I don't know if you figured it out yet or not, but I have no idea how to splice together different segments of video clips recorded either on my phone or my GoPros. I'm sure there is a way of doing it. I'm sure there is. I'm sure if I were so inclined, I could probably go through the motions and probably take a class, you know, pay money and take a class to learn how to do it. It's just a lot of money invested in a technology that's forever changing. Forever changing. You know, you got your Windows, you know, floppy disk gave way to 3.5 diskette, 3.5 diskette gave way to, what is it, jump drives, and you know, now we're on these apps. Everything is an app now. Everything is this privacy intruding apps, you know. Every app on your phone wants permission, well, basically permission to everything, you know. Just let me know your entire fucking life. Seriously, every single app's privacy statement can be summed up in that one sentence. Give me access to your entire fucking life. That's it. That's all they want. And let us sell that shit to whoever the fuck we want, namely the federal government, you know. But I don't want to get too segued into that shit. Yeah, so that's what's going on. America, we've got Joe Biden. We need a better battery. We need better power. I really do think that this yoke that America has is burdened with, you know, on its back, on its shoulders. I really do think that this yoke will be broken once the power situation has been solved. I really do. I think that's going to be the big game changer. So, out of both segments of this video, assuming you wanted to watch part 2, if you don't come away with nothing else, come away with that. Once you solve the power and the power storage issue, that's going to be the big game changer. The yoke will be broken, and you're going to see a whole new America. Alright guys, Total Control 871.